Excellent.
Checking audio levels. I'm looking good.
Check. 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 A little low. Yeah, that's on.
Yeah, make sure you're plugged in. Or what? Good.
Yeah, gonna reset. Check. 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 Check.
That's looking right.
Yeah.
Plus, we get into the actual thing. We tend to be a little louder.
Yes. You get into more of the character.
More into energy.
More energy. And it's not really more of a character. It's more you get into the energy, the flow of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you want like a nice boost in confidence in some capacities, do a podcast for a couple of years.
Yes,
definitely
for
with
a couple of years.
Yeah, for a couple of years.
I'd say that first year.
Oh my gosh.
We had no confidence at all.
No. Oh my gosh.
I was ready to end the show 3 times. Because it's like, there's nobody listening.
Yeah.
Why are we still doing this? Yes. And finally, we got people listening.
Yeah, which I'm very grateful for.
So, hi, guys.
Hello.
This is Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we should be live everywhere. I haven't checked yet.
Yeah, we're running a little late because I had a few things come up.
It's a busy week.
It is a very, very busy week. I signed the papers for my new apartment. Whoop, whoop. And I'll start moving into that via next tomorrow. After this, but I can't talk.
Tomorrow, basicw
Tomorrow,
I don't know
Saturday.
what we were after, but
yeah, Saturday. We'll be able to be moving in Saturday. I've got a few people coming over.
Studio A will be officially closed.
Yes, Studio A will be officially closed.
Your new apartment, if we ever have to record there, will be Studio C.
Yeah.
Except that's legally owned by somebody else.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we are on Facebook.
Yes. Well, we're on Twitch.
And we're on YouTube.
Excellent.
So yeah, tonight we're reviewing a Kung Fu movie with a panda,
What?
but not with Panda because we didn't think to invite him until it would have been too quick for him to have time.
Sorry, Dallas.
That's the only reason we didn't invite Dallas, because we both, as I realized when I said, "Oh, we should invite Dallas."
Maybe
maybe I should have given him time.
Yes.
I don't know what his schedule looks like next Friday.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, it may be a little quick.
Yeah, a little bit. And
for all I know, Celeste is recording Playing Games with Strangers tonight, and would not be Dallas would be unable to use the computer. So.
That's true. And also, we were continuing our spyrific journey into Spy X Family.
Yes.
Or Spy Family.
With this episode. These 2 episodes. These are 2 good episodes.
Yes. We'll get there when we get there. And yeah, afterwards we're going to record something else for you guys that are follow along on our Patreon, that we are continuing through X-Men 97.
Which episode 2 of that will be coming out soon. I just haven't gotten around to editing it yet. No, I did get it edited.
That's right. You did say you did get it edited. That's right.
Let's double check.
Yes.
Drew live on the show.
Oh, well, pre-show. You're welcome, patrons.
I will say, when I was doing the notes for X-Men, it forced me to actually reload the episode and fast forward to a point to see if they actually did something.
Really?
Very subtle.
Yeah.
Six-pack packs, a lot of orange juice. No, it's not out yet. I see Song of the South, End of Ava, and Mighty Kong after X-Men 97 Episode 1. So I will be getting that out this weekend. Faster than I'll get out. I'll probably put both out this weekend. And
Gotcha.
Get this one out later in the week. But anyway.
Yes.
Because definitely want to get this out pretty quick.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because what was it? Kung Fu Panda is still in theaters, I think? 5?
Kung Fu Panda 4 is still in theaters.
Oh, it's 4.
So what was weird, when I was looking up Kung Fu Panda 2 on YouTube to watch it, they had Kung Fu Panda 4.
Yeah, it's already up there.
I was like, this is still in theaters.
Well, yeah, because nowadays, well, like you can start streaming movies probably within.
Don't do that.
I think it's within a month.
You're keeping people out of the theater.
Yeah, I agree. It was on Amazon Video when I watched it. I was like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be in theaters. What the fudge?
I know it technically did poorly, and was disappointment for a lot of people, but still.
But
we'll get to that movie when we get to that movie.
Yeah, I think with that, it's more of the more modern day of streaming, because you had the COVID pandemic. Thanks, COVID.
Yes, but I know where you're going with that.
Yeah,
but even Disney has learned, leave it in theaters a while. And
agreed.
Don't throw it out to Disney Plus that quick, because that's what.
Yeah,
that's the only reason Elemental has done as good as it has in theaters. Is that they left it there like the old way of doing it and didn't put it out in Disney Plus immediately.
True.
It took a while to get to it, but still.
Yeah, I agree. It's like just let it simmer in the theaters and not immediately just throw it onto streaming, because like you can get people to stream because people don't want to get out.
Yeah.
Which
make people get out into the world.
Exactly. It's no longer 2020, 2021. Breathe some fresh air. Now, I understand some people are scared to death of the COVID virus.
It's not gone.
Yeah,
I wanted to say it was gone, but it's not gone.
It's never
out there. It is going to be there as long as the flu has been here. Because guess what, folks? Technically, we're in the middle of 2 pandemics right now. COVID-19 and the 1920s flu pandemic.
Yeah, because it's
technically.
Because it's still going on.
Yeah, it never stopped.
Yeah, the Spanish flu.
Spanish flu. I couldn't remember which
Spanish
flu it was.
From 1918.
And it's still out there, and there's still new strains. And guess what? COVID's going to last just as long.
Yeah.
You'll never get away from COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like people.
It's not as bad as it was.
What it will turn into, what is now turning into, is more of, oh, you need to get your flu shot and your COVID shot,
which will be eventually just be, go get your yearly shot, because they'll eventually just cram it all into one.
Yeah, they will. Eventually.
Right now, there's still an excuse to keep them separate, but
yeah,
because technically a bad flare-up could occur.
It could possibly.
The Jimmy Neutron variant, I don't know.
Jimmy Neutron
variant. I couldn't think of something because it's like they already blew the naming with Omicron.
It's Unicron. I heard that one.
So what's the what's worse than Omicron? I mean, that's one of the last good Greek letters. I mean, Omega, but that's like, okay, you save that till the end. Like, this is the one that's going to kill humanity.
Oh my gosh, what was it? When the solar eclipse came through last week, or this early this week? Oh my gosh, the amount of
people who thought the world was going to end.
Yeah, I literally had a customer early that morning was talking about how the apocalypse is going to happen and be like, oh, I love you guys, blah, blah, very much peace and love, kind of hippie kind of person. Not hipster, but hippie.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, it was
there is a difference between
hippie and very
hipster.
Much. I made the mistake one day of calling someone hipster instead of hippie. And I thought he was going to tear my head off. Thankfully, he's a very peace-loving hippie. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, it was just so weird. It'd be like you have all these people prophesying that this is going to happen and this and this and this. Like, read scripture. That's not what it says.
We won't know when it happens.
Yeah, exactly. So this, it was a very interesting. If you had the chance, if you lived in the southern hemisphere, and you're able to watch it, it was a sight to behold.
First off, we're not in the southern hemisphere. We're in the northern hemisphere.
Northern hemisphere, my mistake.
Because we're above the equator.
That's true. Well, you know what I meant, more in the southern hemisphere of the country.
That's where that was second.
Yeah.
Because it went through New York, too.
Yeah, that is true.
it went up like that. We were on the upward curve instead of the downward curve.
True.
So, in fact, the crazy thing was there were earthquakes in New York before the eclipse.
Yes, and people were.
Someone pointed that's eerily reminiscent to something else that people kept pointing out. I can't remember what it was about earthquakes and an eclipse happening at the same time as the in New York. I don't like it's a song reference or something. I don't remember what it was now.
And also, I've heard people like a few days, like a day later, we had like a monsoon of a rainstorm come through for 2 days, and people were like
2.5. Like literally, the eclipse is over. 30 minutes later, boom.
I've heard estimates it was 12 inches to 6 inches to just all over. We got drenched here in Texas. Let's say that.
And will dry out over the course of the next 5 months.
Yes. And then I had so many people where I work, were customers primarily, where I can't wait for this storm to be over. It'd be like, I hate the rain. Why has it got to rain so much?
It doesn't rain that much.
Agreed. And then
you think it rains bad, go to England.
Yes.
A place known for its rain.
Yes. Or Washington State. It rains constantly. But I guess it's more here. It's, oh, we don't need the rain that much. Well, you'll be asking and begging and praying for rain when it comes to September.
Yeah.
Because most likely
when all the lakes are drying up.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, please send the rain.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it cool off.
I honestly would not mind. Honestly, would not mind a rainy summer.
I wouldn't mind it either. It's not going to happen, but I wouldn't mind it. I'd take a rainy June.
True, a rainy June.
Because we get those.
Yes.
Generally, though, when we get we can get rainy Junes where it's like raining nearly every stinking day.
Just not the 22nd.
The 22nd.
It can be dry as a bone then.
As a bone.
Oh, yes,
Heck,
exactly.
21st and 22nd, dry as a bone.
Yeah.
No rain in the forecast. Bright sunny day. Birds chirping. The whole shebang.
Yeah, exactly.
Then the 23rd, rain again.
Exactly. When me and
all,
Ashley
all
are
the
going...
rain that was being held back for you and Ashley comes back on Monday, and we can't even drive 5 feet before we crash into somebody because we can't see them. Also, that's when the hailstones the size of minivans fall.
Oh gosh! Don't give people encouragement for fearful ideas. Come on, dude. Because nowadays people are so freaking afraid. Oh my gosh! Did you see the hailstones? It was the size of a dime.
It's like, that's nothing. I've seen a baseball sized.
I'm about to say, I hope you've seen a baseball.
I've seen baseball sized hail.
Yeah.
I was in the Panhandle at the time,
yeah.
but I have seen baseball sized hail.
Right.
And was very glad the car, I was still young then, but I am very glad the car must have been under something and didn't get destroyed.
Oh my gosh. So here's a story about hailstones. So a young man that I knew, he's married and has kids and the whole bit. He's been graduated from college. Way to go, Luke. So he got his first vehicle, had to drive. I think it was like 2 hours, 2 hours. He got caught in a hailstorm, beat the crap out of that truck. So gets things fixed, the whole enchilada. He gets his next vehicle, drives through a hailstorm. This guy has had nothing but bad luck when it comes to newer vehicles and hailstorms.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. But, oh my gosh. Because I think me and a friend of mine, listener of the show, Stevie, we were talking about the increased activity of hailstorm, like just general hail precipitation throughout the last maybe like 5 years. Like it's gone up significantly. Now it'd be like you could go into it's climate change. Oh, it's this.
I'm sure some people will claim it's climate change.
Oh yeah. But
I mean,
I don't necessarily believe in climate change.
I have no idea what to believe when it comes to climate change because there's just the fact of the matter is we've only really been. I'm sure there's going to be science people are going to just bite our heads off for this.
Probably.
So I apologize now. But to my understanding, we have not been keeping good data to really track it for less than 100 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And
They can track it in some parts of history, but they can't do it all.
right. I mean, but to the extent we're doing it now, we're
Right.
capturing like weather conditions every second, and it's being fed into a computer.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been doing that for a good 20, 30 years now. But even the stuff we were doing all the way back to the 40s and 30s,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's still... We didn't have a lot of these big, nice technical instruments. And so you were based on a guy going out there, reading a thermometer and saying, well, it looks like... Or reading the rain gauge and going, well, the hailstones look to be about this size.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is the fact that there is some evidence that the rising temperatures or the change in the climate is not necessarily due to human activity, but due to the fact that we're in a warm spot in the last ice age.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the average temperature of the Earth, based on what science claims, is actually much hotter than it is now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to think.
Yeah.
What I do know, you can spout climate change all you want, but here's what I do know.
Okay.
We ought to be taking better care of this Earth.
Oh,
Period.
I agree.
Whether what we're doing is damaging the climate or not, we ought to be taking better care of this planet.
Oh, I agree. But and I necessarily do not agree with the climate change activists because I think a lot of they're doing is a lot more damage than good.
More fear mongering.
A lot more fear mongering. Definitely fear mongering. I completely agree with you. The fact that we should take care of the planet because God has placed us here on this earth in order to reap what we need and to, not give back to the planet, but make sure that the earth, is
to maintain it.
To maintain it. That's a better word. That's a good word. Maintain. To maintain to what God has given us. To be good stewards over the earth.
Be good stewards. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Unlike some environmentalists, it's more, we need to worship the earth.
Those are people who think Gaia is a good idea, and
that
those
is true.
people have watched way too much Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Well, on that note.
We could literally talk about this for like another hour. It'd be kind of fun.
We easily could.
Yeah,
but
you're welcome, patrons.
We don't want to be here until 11 o'clock like last week.
Yeah. Thanks, Nate.
So...
Nate Marchand.
We actually love doing that, but at the same time, we can only do that so often.
Yes.
Doing that on a podcast. So why don't we go ahead and jump into this thing?
Yes.
The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who, due to his upcoming nuptials, is having a hard time finding inner peace. Welcome, Jacob.
Peace? What are we talking about? Ah! Where am I? Oh, yeah.
It's a podcast.
That's right.
You're in Studio B.
That's right. Thanks. Whew. All right. Why, thank you. Guten Tag.
Konnichiwa.
Let me introduce our co-host, a man who, wow.
I threw you.
You threw me for a loop. Good job. Very good job. Oh. Throwing fists and taking names. Welcome, Drew.
Hey, when you got everybody was kung fu fighting.
Or he's got the touch.
I do have the power of We're just bringing it all back. Anna, whatever.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a good episode. All right.
Yes, tonight we are reviewing Kung Fu Panda 2, which is one of my favorite ones, actually.
I agree. It's a very good film.
So why don't we just go ahead and jump into the spoiler-free section of our review.
Yes.
Certified fresh and spoiler free.
This is probably my third or fourth viewing of this film.
Okay.
My first viewing was in a drive-in theater.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, one of those ancient relics of the past?
Well, this was one that was between Tyler and Lindell. It was a digital theater.
Really?
It had a digital projector. The reason the theater is no longer there is because thieves kept stealing the projector light.
Mm-hmm.
Those very expensive bulbs.
Yes.
And probably making a buttload of money off it. So the place went out of business.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they didn't really have that much people coming in and watching it because, you have to wait till it gets dark on a summer night to really see anything. And you don't have really nice, good sound systems. You just have whatever your car radio has.
Yeah.
And that's assuming some idiot's not, just playing some random MP3 at that same frequency or near that frequency, interrupting the film.
True.
But let me give you a picture
Okay.
of what I did. Instead of most people who would have just driven in, set the radio to the right channel, and just sat there in their car and enjoyed the film like that, I backed in. I had a lawn chair set up in the back of the bed of my truck.
Okay.
I had a cassette Walkman.
Cassette Walkman.
Like one of the last ones they ever made.
Oh, okay.
But I was using the radio part of it with headphones. And I'm sitting there in the bed of my truck. It wasn't just like a lawn chair. It was one of those nice lounge lawn chairs. Mm-hmm. I'm just sitting back there watching Kung Fu Panda in the back of my truck.
That is awesome.
And the problem with that is that that little tape cassette Walkman only had one of those tuners. You have to you just have the little wheel to get there. So you're never expecting to get a exact frequency. You're just hoping to get close.
Yes.
And unfortunately, the bandwidth that little audio transmitter was at that place was not that strong.
Oh, no.
I mean, your car radio could find it because you could tune it in to, exact, but that little thing of mine is like, so I watched most of the film with,
closed caption?
No, not closed caption. There wasn't closed caption because I'm in a, there are other people watching this.
Yeah.
But with like a small hiss in the background. And,
okay.
And sound going in and out. It was enough that I could watch it and enjoy the film.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong.
Got it.
But at the same time, it was like, oh man, this did not work as well as I thought it would. So yeah. And I saw it a couple other times because it's a good film.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, like I said, my fourth time watching it, and it's just as good as I remember it. I think this is my favorite of the three I've seen.
Okay.
And we'll get into why that in a minute. This was also the film where I started noticing the name Gary Oldman.
Ah.
Because when I watched this film, I couldn't tell who was playing Shen.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other time I remembered hearing Gary Oldman's name connected to anything, I believe, wasn't he Commissioner Gordon in the Nolan Batman movies?
Yes.
That's what I thought. That's the only thing I recognized him from.
Really?
I knew the name from at the time. I'm going, oh, so this is the same guy. Wow, he's a good actor. I had no idea that was the same guy. And then later on, I found out he actually plays a villain in The Fifth Element.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, that's the same guy?
Yeah.
He doesn't even look or sound anything like Commissioner Gordon.
Air Force One.
In Air Force One. He's in like tons of things, and I guarantee you, anytime I look at it, the only reason I can guess that's him is because I have no idea who that is, but dang, that's a good actor. I bet that's Gary Oldman.
Yeah. Profoundly amazing actor.
So that's an interesting thing there. And there's a lot of other cool little things in this that we'll get to, but yeah, this, like I said, this is one of my favorites, so probably going to give it a high rating tonight. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I felt like Poe watching this movie. Very oddly and very peculiar, like Poe, our main character. I thought I knew. I thought I had watched this movie. I hadn't.
You hadn't watched this one?
I had I think I'd seen a little bit here and there, a little bit of the film here and there. So apparently in my mind, I had built what the film was.
Right.
And I have Kung Fu Panda on Blu-ray, but due to my moving, I couldn't get to it. And so I watched it on Amazon Video.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this movie, and just very peculiarly, I'm feeling like, Poe, I'm remembering something I never watched before. I'm like, what the heck? This is a great movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, I watched this film before. I had watched 1 and 2. I know I've watched 1. I believed I watched 2. And so I'm watching because I remember watching like the first bits of this movie, but it's not clicking. And then like the rest of it's like, what movie is this? Because I don't remember this.
It's an epic film.
It's an epic film. Agreed.
See, here's the thing. I remember watching Kung Fu Panda 1 and thinking, okay, that's okay. It's an okay film. It's not the greatest. And I kind of just went to Kung Fu Panda 2 at that drive-in theater because, like, I have an excuse to go to the drive-in. I don't really know much about Kung Fu. I know it's going to be a fun movie, if nothing else. Mm-hmm. I'll just go see Kung Fu Panda 2. And I get to the end of that thing going, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised watching this film. I thought it was very well executed. It's got a great story. The fight coordination is so good. It's more of a dance than a fight, which I think like
which
any
is what Kung Fu is supposed to look like.
Yeah, it's supposed to look like a dance. And that made me sound really dumb. But
no, it didn't.
but I knew anyways, I'm gonna dig myself into a hole if I don't stop. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's recommending by like beyond belief. And again, I kept thinking, I'd seen this film before. I know this film. It's like I'm gonna be able to walk into this, be like, I've seen it before. Be like hypothetical, I wasn't able to watch it. I was like, I can ride nostalgia and just be like, make my notes based on what I remember and what I can read and that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, watching it, I've never watched this film.
Yeah.
And I'm pleasantly surprised. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. And so whenever I get everything unpacked, when I move into my new apartment, I will probably dig out Kung Fu Panda 2 from its Blu-ray and watch this in my new home.
And then go through all the special features.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And Rec Shop and just like Gary Oldman. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yes.
So why don't we go ahead and jump into the spoiler-filled section?
Yes.
The following is a spoiler-filled review for Kung Fu Panda 2. Listener discretion is advised. I don't have any light words for this line. Oh, this song was in the first one, not the second one.
Squidoosh.
Yeah, definitely.
Skitoosh. Oh my gosh.
Kung Fu Panda 2 was directed by Jennifer Yu Nelson, who, along with directing Kung Fu Panda 3, was also the supervising director for the TV show Love, Death, and Robots.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a little bit of that. That is a very interesting show.
I need to go back and
just
watch
like,
some more
whoa,
of it.
what the crap is this?
I've only seen like one episode, so I need to go back and watch some more of it.
Yes.
It was written by Jonathan Abel and Glenn Berger, and based on the characters from Kung Fu Panda 1 by Ethan Reef and Cyrus Voris. Getting into the cast, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Jack Black.
Yeah, baby.
As Poe, the Dragon Warrior.
Here. The panda.
And as almost a throwback to last week, he played Carl Denham in King Kong.
Yes, he did.
Peter Jackson's King Kong. The good... Well, I'm not going to say the good King Kong because there's two good King Kongs.
Yeah.
At least. I've not watched the 70s one.
I actually saw...
I haven't. I just hadn't watched it yet.
I watched Peter Jackson's one in theaters.
I did too.
Oh my gosh. That is such a good movie.
I still have not watched the extended version yet.
Yeah, I remember there was the extended version of it.
Because I kept thinking, why is there an extended version of this? The original movie's only, an hour and a half long?
Yeah.
And this movie's already 2? And you're going to make it longer?
It's Jackson. Who do you
Peter
think?
Jackson.
It's Peter Jackson.
He does not know efficient filmmaking.
Yeah, exactly. His 3.5 hour of Lord of the Rings and all the other
3 hours. Okay, it's 3 hours Fellowship, 3 hours of Two Towers, 3.5 for Return.
yes.
And I don't know about the Hobbit ones because I have not had that kind of patience. Anyway, Angelina Jolie as Tigress. And she played Maleficent in Maleficent. And Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, where she was decidedly not evil.
Yeah, that's
Because that's the thing about that version of Maleficent.
that was the I remember I watched that in theaters and it's like, oh, it's a Cinderella film. You
Sleeping
watch
Beauty.
Yeah, Sleeping Beauty. Sorry, Sleeping Beauty. But I watched it and I was like, that's like, okay, I like the way they're going with it because there again, you're making Maleficent more of a sympathetic character, but at the same time, this is supposed to be the
mistress of all evil.
And it's more we feel sorry for
Unleashing the fires of hell on the prince.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember his name, but I don't think it's Charming because I think that's Snow White's
That's
prince.
Snow White.
Can't remember what the prince's name is in Sleeping Beauty.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've seen Sleeping Beauty. Jackie Chan, who actually was credited this time as Monkey. And he played Lee in Rush Hour.
Yeah, oh my gosh, love.
Among
Russia.
so many other films Jackie Chan has been, but I had to only pick one. Not that I didn't stop me for later on in this list.
Yes.
Seth Rogen was the voice of Mantis, who sounded suspiciously like Donkey Kong. Because this is another one of those where Seth Rogen was playing Seth Rogen.
Yeah, because I think Seth...
Donkey Kong is what he's known is the main thing he's probably known
more
for
recently.
at the moment. In Super Smash Brothers.
I think
Super Smash Brothers. Super Mario Brothers.
You wish
movie.
it was Super Smash Brothers.
Dude, I'm still waiting for that. That you know it's coming.
Yeah, eventually, whenever they get the rights to like all the stuff.
Nintendo still owns 95% of their rights.
That's true.
Film-wise.
Like Sonic and the whole enchilada.
Oh, that's a different kettle of fish.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Sega's not like on board with that. Good night.
Yeah.
We'll get more on Sega later on in this podcast, probably. Lucy Liu was the voice of Viper.
Yes.
And she played Orin Ishii in Kill Bill Volume 1. One of my favorite films with her in it.
I have never seen Kill Bill.
Oh, dude.
Never.
Volume 2 is good, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And the first time you're watching through those movies, you need to watch both.
Okay.
But Volume 1 is my favorite.
Okay.
Because it is the most martial arts film.
Gotcha.
The first one's a martial arts film. The second one is more of a spaghetti western.
Okay.
But Lucy Liu plays the villainess in that. And, well, let me put it this way. Do you remember the commercial for the phone Vonage?
Vonage. Yes.
And it had that song. Doo, 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 doo,
Yeah,
doo,
yeah,
doo.
yeah.
That song is in this movie. It predates that commercial.
Oh, that's right. It does.
And I remember watching it because I saw the movie after that commercial was out, and I'm sitting there going, "Why do I want to buy a phone right now?" while what's her name? Uma Thurman
Yes.
is walking through this club in Hong Kong that's filled with Yakuza. Not Yakuza, because it's not Yakuza. I don't remember. It's been a hot minute, guys. It's not Hong Kong. It might be Tokyo. Before I just lose completely everything, go watch the film. That's all I'm going to say. David Cross was the voice of Crane.
Yes.
And he's Minion in Megamind.
That's right.
Dustin Hoffman played Shifu. He's Captain Hook in Hook.
Yes.
James Hong played Mr. Ping, a.k.a. the goose that is Po the Panda's dad. Adopted father.
Yeah.
Because that was such a shock to Po in this film.
It's like, yeah, I know. What? It's like, Poe, come on, dude. You're a panda.
In Turning Red, he played Mr. Gao.
Oh, okay.
But I primarily know him as Lo Pan in Big Trouble in Little
Yes.
China.
Oh my gosh. Yes. That's a good movie.
That is a good
80s
It's far
schlock.
better than it has any right to be.
That is true. It's a good 80s schlock.
Michelle Yao was the soothsayer. and she plays Philippa Georgiou in Star Trek Discovery.
Ah.
Which also means she's Empress Philippa Georgiou in Discovery. Gary Oldman was the voice of Shen, and he's Sirius Black in the Harry Potter films.
And a bunch of other
as I
amazing
mentioned,
films.
Zorg in The Fifth Element.
Yeah, Zorg. Oh my gosh, Commissioner Gordon.
AKA the movie that Frozen 2 stole its plot from.
Yeah. Oh,
I will say that till the end of my days.
Oh my gosh. The role that I absolutely loved him in was Leon the Professional. Because he played this crooked cop, and oh my gosh, you get this famous line. It'd be like it's where one of his minions is be like, how many? All of them!
I believe it's everyone.
Everyone. That's what
Everyone!
everyone!
I've not even seen the film, and I know that.
It's so good. It's so freaking good.
Dennis Haysbert was the voice of Master Ox. You probably know him as Grayskull in Masters of the Universe Revelation.
Oh. Wait a minute. Who? Sorry, I was trying.
Grayskull.
Yeah, Grayskull.
I'm assuming
Grayskull's the planet. Is the
I know,
castle?
but apparently there is a character in that show named Grayskull, and it's played by this guy.
Really? I did not realize that. Apparently, I am oblivious of this.
Okay. Victor Garber was the voice of Master Rhino. And in the television series Alias, he played Jack Bristow.
Yeah, that's right. Also, he was in The Flash. He was in Legend of Tomorrow as part of Firestorm. And he was in Titanic.
Yeah, there was a lot of things.
There was a lot of stuff. Oh my gosh.
I kept thinking, what is this guy the most known for?
Oh yeah, Alias. Oh my gosh, I love Alias.
A lot of that stuff I've not watched. So I was like, I have no idea if this is a big role or if it's a little role. But I see 3 digits on how many times he appeared in a show, and I go, I bet you that's what he's most known for.
Yeah. Alias is so good.
Last but not least, Jean-Claude Van Damme as Master Croc.
Yes.
I know him as Colonel Guile in Street Fighter the movie.
Oh, that cheesy film.
I love that film. It's not a good film, but
no, it's not.
Film.
It's so just... I remember watching this movie.
The day M. Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday.
So, a little more background on that, because I remember watching because my dad rented it, because my dad is a huge action junkie, loves action movies. So he rented it because I remember like seeing it like M. Bison, this enormous big guy, and all these like very beefy, big, characters, larger than life heroes that are facing off against villains. And I watched this movie, I'm like, this is stupid, like beyond stupid. I'm watching it, it's just like, wow, this is dumb. And I'd be like, I get it. A lot of people love the cheesiness. Love
That's the entire reason I like it. I know it's a bad film.
Yeah.
I don't care. There's a reason I own this film in a steelbook.
That makes sense. I guarantee at some point.
I own Bison dollars. It came with it. And it's probably worth about as much as actual Bison dollars would have been in that film.
Oh my gosh. I guarantee whenever we do a plus episode,
we need to do that.
It'll be on there.
Just so we can have fun with it. I'll admit, if this were on Retro Rewind, nostalgic. If this were on bottom shelf, definitely a middle shelf film for me. But I still love the film.
Fair. Bill, I think we all have those films that we know are heaping trash, but we still have, oh my gosh, I love this because it hits a certain nostalgia in our lives.
So,
and go ahead.
Here's the fun bit of trivia.
Okay.
This is Street Fighter as the movie is of course based on the video game Street Fighter 2.
Mm-hmm.
There's a video game tie-in to this movie.
Really?
That's not made by Capcom.
Oh, that sounds...
Street Fighter, the movie, the game, by Acclaim Entertainment, is basically a port of Street Fighter 2, but with digitized, the actors digitized,
reskinned
the characters, and some other people doing the voices because they couldn't get them to come back to do voices.
Oh my gosh.
And it was on the Sega Saturn.
Wow.
And it
I
is
remember
a
seeing
piece of trash.
Just like the movie.
I never said it was brilliant.
I
Said I liked it.
I agree. There again, we can love the schlock, but it's just like, hey, I guarantee there's probably a film that I absolutely be like this. Anastasia.
More on that in a couple weeks.
Yes.
If not next week. I think it might be next week.
Yes, it is.
Next week or week after next. I don't remember which.
Well, our rewind episode is next week. So we're doing Anastasia.
Anastasia. Good.
Anastasia.
Fly me to the moon. On that note,
dead.
on that note, Kingdom Hearts connections. Guess how many we have?
Oh my gosh, for Kung Fu Panda 2. 3.
No.
More or less.
Less.
1.
No.
0.
No.
2.
Yes.
Okay.
We have
Bounce
2.
around.
First, Robert Clotworthy was additional voices in Kung Fu Panda 2.
Okay.
And he's additional voices in Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
However, he is the Black Knight in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Okay.
And I don't remember who this character is.
I was about to ask.
And the thing is, it's all of this is archive audio.
Oh, wow.
So I don't even know what game the Black Knight is from.
Wow.
I'm thinking it's got to be from Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that would have a character named the Black Knight.
Yeah.
Except Link probably could have it too, but I don't remember a Black Knight character. Like Zelda, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a couple other things it's like I could see maybe, but to just name a character the Black Knight, there's not much that you could pick from.
Probably not.
And I didn't think to bother to look to see.
So here's a funny thing. Talk about video games real fast.
Yeah.
So for me and Ashley, my fiance, the bridal shower, which is actually next week. So like when this episode comes out for its podcast form.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully before next week. But
hopefully for next week. So because we put our list out together, like put like what we want, and one of them I think was like Super Smash Brothers or Super Mario Wonder on a Wii on Switch, and apparently someone bought us one of those.
Wasn't me.
Okay.
I haven't gone and bought you anything yet.
Okay.
It'll be an under the table here. Enjoy. No offense. I ain't going to the shower.
Okay. Wow. You don't like cake?
I like cake. I don't want to go to a shower.
Oh, okay.
If I want a shower, I'll go to the bathroom.
Because one thing I already know my job. It's like, hey, take the gifts, put them on this thing, make sure this and this and this.
Yes.
You can't leave out this door. Okay, fine.
Until someone says, "Hey, come over here. Come over here.
Yeah.
We're going to sit outside and drink a beer while hot dogs." I'm remembering a commercial. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what the commercial was for.
This is at a church. Just remember.
No, it was at somebody's house.
Oh.
But I remember this commercial. I don't remember what it was for, but it's obviously a guy in your position at a bridal shower or a baby shower. Not sure which of the two, but let's face it, as far as the man is concerned, the only difference is the exact reason why you're doing this.
Yeah.
And the father-in-law comes in, calls them over, and they all both go outside and they drink a beer and eat a hot dog. That's about all I remember. Is this a commercial for the beer? I know it was a beer. I know it was a beer.
Yeah.
Or is this like some weird? That's not really the thing you think of for a hot dog commercial.
Yeah.
Because that's usually 4th of July, kids running around.
Right.
So I guess it had to be for whatever the beer was, and I don't know which beer it was.
Right.
But either way.
Yeah.
Last Kingdom Hearts connection are the man who I enjoy seeing his name every time I see it in something. Fred Tatasciore, a.k.a. the guy we know as Shax.
Yes.
Tell the pirates that Shax sent you. Special delivery from Bajor. So my favorite line.
Oh my gosh.
He was Panda Dad and a gorilla guard in Kung Fu Panda 2.
Huh.
He is Kevin Flynn and Clue in Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, okay.
So, That's what I've got for Kingdom Hearts connections.
Okay.
What do we got in info and stuff?
All right, so info and stuff. We have IMDb at a 7.3. Rotten Tomatoes is an 81% score. For some reason, Rotten Tomatoes, their site on my iPad, would not load for some reason.
Weird.
So I don't have the audience score.
I shall help.
Now, if you can find it, be grateful. All right, so you are able to watch, where I watched it at least, was on Amazon Video for...
I watched it on YouTube.
For $3.49.
It's about what it was on YouTube.
Yeah. So production-wise was through DreamWorks Animation, distributed by Paramount Pictures, DreamWorks Animation. Theatrical release. So it was released on a Hollywood premiere on May 22nd, 2011, and premiered countrywide here in the United States on May 26th, 2011. Runtime is an hour and a half.
Kung Fu Panda 2 was 81% on the Tomatometer and 74% audience score.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so box office. It had an estimated budget of $150 million. Its opening for the United States and Canada was $47.6 million on May 29th. Its U.S. and Canada gross was $165.2 million. And it didn't do that well here in the United States or domestically, but it just shattered international with $665.9 or $0.6 million. It did amazing internationally.
Nice.
Domestically, it didn't do that well because it was the budget, but I guarantee it ate through its promotional. Because this movie got promoted all over the place, because I remember very fondly. And again, this is my first time watching it, so
Yes.
go figure. I've owned the Blu-ray for years, still haven't watched it, apparently. So, home video. The film was released on DVD and Blu-ray for the first time on December 13th, 2011, accompanied by the short film Kung Fu Panda, The Secret of the Masters, in an episode of Kung Fu Panda, Legend of the Awesomeness television series. As of February 2013, 6.5 million home entertainment units have been sold worldwide. That's all I have for info and stuff.
Getting into the summary. Long ago, the peacock rulers of Gongmen City invented fireworks for peaceful purposes. But their son, Lord Shen, discovered that the gunpowder used in firecrackers could also be used as a weapon. Troubled by Shen's obsession, his parents consulted a soothsayer who foretold them that if he continued too far down this path, he would be stopped by a warrior of black and white. Overhearing the prophecy, Shen deduced that the warrior would be a panda and led his wolf army to exterminate the pandas. Horrified by the massacre, Shen's parents permanently banished him. In the present day, Shen and his wolf army raid villages for scrap metal, hoping to build cannons that Shen can use to conquer all of China. Meanwhile, Po is enjoying his new life as a kung fu master alongside the Furious Five, definitely being their sixth ranger. Although Master Shifu warns him that he has not yet achieved inner peace. When the wolf army raids another village, Po and the five intercept them, but a symbol on the leader's armor that resembles a red eye gives Po a flashback of his mother. Po questions his adopted father, Mr. Ping, and the goose reveals that he found Po as a cub in a shipment of radishes outside his restaurant. When no one came forward to claim the cub, Mr. Ping adopted Po as his son. Po and the five are dispatched to Gongmen City after learning that Shen killed Master Thundering Rhino, a regent of the city, with a cannon. Shen imprisons the other agents, Master Ox and Croc, and takes over the city. However, the soothsayer constantly reminds him of the prophecy until he learns that Po is a panda.
Dum, dum, dum.
On arrival at Gongmen City, Po and the five free... Sorry. On arrival at... Hang on. On arrival at Gongmen City, Po and the Five free Masters Ox and Croc, but the duo refuse to help, believing that Kung Fu died alongside Master Rhino. Po and the Five feign surrender to Shen, secretly replacing Mantis with an action figure. The real Mantis frees the others when they are inside the palace and they destroy the prototype cannon, but Po sees the same familiar symbol on Shen's plumage, which distracts him long enough for Shen to escape and destroy Gongmen Palace with his cannonade. When the Masters are safe, Tigress demands answers, so Po reveals that he somehow remembered Shen was there the day he last saw his biological parents. Tigress sympathizes, but fears that Po's lack of focus will get him killed. The Five abandon Po for his safety and proceed to Shen's cannon factory with the intent to blow it up. However, Po follows and confronts Shen, inadvertently spoiling the plan and allowing the Five to be captured. Shen lies, saying Po's parents hated him, and shoots him with a cannon. Po, badly wounded but alive, Po floats downriver and is rescued by the soothsayer. She tells him about the Panda genocide and encourages him to embrace his past. Po, finally achieving inner peace, is able to remember his father fighting off the army while his mother hid him in a radish crate, drawing off Shen's army so he could survive. Rejuvenated, Po returns to Gongmen City, where Shen is sailing downriver with his cannons and army. Po frees the Five, and with the help of Masters Ox, Croc, and Shifu, they are able to wreck the foremost ships and prevent the army from reaching the harbor. Lord Shen fires a cannon, however, killing some of his own soldiers to clear the way. Po stands alone against Shen, using his newfound inner peace skills to deflect the cannonballs shot at him back at the fleet, destroying it. Po offers mercy to Shen, but Shen rejects it and attacks Po with a spear. This accidentally severs the lines holding up one of the cannons, and it falls on Shen, killing him. Po is congratulated by Shifu and the Five, and while returning to the valley, Po reaffirms his identity as Mr. Ping's son and his love for his adopted father. Meanwhile, at a secret panda village high in the mountains, Po's biological father is revealed to still be alive, and he also senses that his son is alive.
Dum, dum, dum.
And I believe that's the panda dad that was voiced by Fred Tatasciore.
Yes.
Getting into the trivia. Master Croc leaps onto the boat and lands in a wide split position. Mm-hmm. This is a characteristic mood of Jean-Claude Van Damme, who voiced him. Mm-hmm. Lord Shen fights hand-to-hand with a martial arts style called Kai Li Fo, a Chinese martial art that normally uses a metal fan for defensive and distraction purposes. However, being a peacock, Lord Shen uses his large tail feathers for that purpose.
Shake your tail feathers.
During the first shot of Mr. Ping's restaurant, he says that it serves both noodles and tofu. Mm-hmm. This is a reference to the original film where Mr. Ping stated he previously had a dream of running away and learning how to make tofu. Apparently, Po, realizing his dream, convinced him to do the same. Lord Shen's wolf army had a much more tender backstory than being simple-minded mercenaries, according to some other lore on the film. The wolves were actually the palace's royal guards, and Shen, as a young prince, was the only member of the royal family to play with the wolves, feed them, and basically treat them as his own kin, which bought him the wolves' loyalty and devotion. Lord Shen is the only villain, assuming we don't know about, this does not include Kung Fu Panda 4, I believe, but Lord Shen is the only villain that dies without some spiritual or magical techniques involved. When Shen's boat finally explodes in a show of fireworks, they briefly display Shen's own image and then the yin-yang symbol that is a recurring element of the Soothsayer's prophecies.
That's true.
The character of Shen was originally created for the first film as a devious mayor, but was written out before production. This is the only movie in the franchise, as of Kung Fu Panda 3, where Po does not use the wushai finger hold. However, he does say the word that unleashes this technique. Skadoosh. And that brings me to the end of our trivia. What's your first like for this film?
My first like for this film would be the fight coordination, or the fight dance
Choreography.
Choreography. That's what I'm going to say. Choreography. What did I say?
Coordination?
Coordination.
This is not wrong.
No, it's not wrong.
It's
just
not the word you were looking for.
Exactly. Coordination. But, oh my gosh. Just like like I've seen animation where it's very fluid. This just cranks it up to 20 times that. Mm-hmm. It's like it's beautiful. It's got this like Kung Fu itself. It's just more. It's got this flow and sway to it about everything. How they have the body move. Definitely like Po as a very rotund panda. Just like it's like every fight is just breathtaking to watch. It's mesmerizing and just like every single frame you see it, it's just like wow. It's like my gosh, props to the animators for doing this because that probably took forever. This was 2011.
Yeah.
And just to imagine what they did with Kung Fu Panda 4 with the modern technology.
We shall see.
Yeah. So yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. Fight choreography. Amazing.
My first like for this film. See, the first film.
Uh-huh.
The entire crux of that was Po proving himself to the Five and to Shifu that he was worthy of being the Dragon Warrior. And proving it to himself, to be honest.
Right.
What I like about this film is since we got all that out of the way.
Yeah.
All that's in the past.
Yeah.
Po is completely accepted for who he is, and it's fun watching them fight using his his quote unquote style
Yes.
of kung fu fighting, which is like so completely different from everybody else's, but yet they all work so well together.
Mm-hmm.
That shot of near the end where with they're all jumped up in the air and it does the time freeze and Po looks both ways and sees everyone, in that attack pose and goes, I love you guys. That is a cool shot.
Oh, agreed.
And it's like that shot, even though, it definitely couldn't have happened because you wouldn't have had Croc or Ox in that first movie. But that would not have worked at the end of Kung Fu Panda 1.
Agreed.
So I like how, despite the fact that Po is so different from everybody else, it is actually his strengths that allow him to win the day in this. A part of me wanted to put in it as a dislike, and it's not, was Chekhov's centerpiece, as I was going to call it.
Oh, okay.
Because they give you this at the very beginning of the film, and then it comes up, in the village, and then it comes up at the very end. I forgot about the village scene.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen this movie 4 times.
Yeah.
I knew there was the scene in the village where Po remembers what happened. Mm-hmm. I forgot he was doing the inner piece little choreographed move there. I was like, oh, that is so well done.
Yes.
So, and I know that kind of doesn't seem like I'm what I was going with, but the fact that you've got, there is no conflict within the team. It is the team has a goal, and all 6 members of this team are on board and are willing to work together. Yeah. The only time they that there is something put aside where when they start saying, Po, you can't come with us because it's because Po is literally being a danger to both himself and the team. Yeah, agreed. They don't want him to get hurt. Yeah. And it's really more that than we're afraid you're going to mess up the mission, even though he still messes up the mission.
It's Po, of course.
Po. I still like that part in that. I'm just going to have to quote this line where, they throw the all the barrels of gunpowder, and it says, and Mantis says, and you can't return it. Then they see Po says, return it! And they start trying to stamp out the fire to go,
that's right.
Guys, that's not going to work. But yeah, I love the friendship, I guess. Yeah. Is really what I'm trying to get at. The friendship between these characters, because we did not have that friendship in the beginning. Agreed. There was so much animosity between the Five and Shifu against Po. And in this one, just seeing them all willing to work together and, and not be a begrudging help. I liked very much.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree with
yeah,
you.
The friendship is what I like in this. Is my first like.
I would almost go to a point where it's almost like a family now.
Yeah.
Because you, like you said, it was very the animosity, the difference between Tigress and Poe.
Yeah.
Because Tigress was more be like, oh, I'm the one who's in line for this. As far as I remember watching the first one, and now it's more, but like she's kind of come to accept be like Poe is the Kung Fu Master, or what's his title? Dragon Master.
The Dragon Warrior.
Dragon Warrior, that's right, Dragon Warrior. And it's more be like she's still this very strong, steady rock of a character, but she's willing to listen. She's willing to like not be bullheaded, but just to listen to Poe. And like in this movie, you get a lot more of emotional connection between definitely Tigress and Poe. Because Poe's, but like he's going through this but like he's coming to understand something of his past, and he's kind of shocked by it, and she's very understanding of it. She's very understanding, very sympathetic towards his cause, and it's not like, oh, I'm going to slap you around so you wake up. It's very, okay, I'm here for you. I'm your friend. I'm your sister, and within Kung Fu.
Yeah.
But in this family. And it's like a very great supporting older sibling that is there for you whenever if you got a problem, I'm going to be there and you listen to you. So yeah, I love the camaraderie between these characters. It's really good.
What's your second like?
My second like.
Or was that your second?
No, that wasn't actually my second like. My second like was the animation they used for Poe's flashbacks.
Oh,
yes. I love that because I was completely shocked by it. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. They went to a 2D platform.
There's two different 2D forms of animation in this.
Yes.
There's basically what I think must have been Flash animation. Yeah. It's a very well done Flash animation, but it's kind of a Flash animation. And then there's the puppetry, the shadow puppetry. Now it's not actual puppetry.
Yeah,
it is just designed to look like that and done in 2D. But oh wow,
yes, so good. I think the puppetry was primarily when we're in the very beginning of the movie.
It is, but there's a couple other spots where you can kind of see that when they're doing the flashback to. Yeah, but mainly it's that. Most of the rest of it is definitely that 2D Flash thing, which is Poe when we're looking at Poe's past specifically. Yeah,
because like you said, it's not one of this like very cheaply done Flash animation. Yeah. It's done very well. It's got the fluidity and everything.
And the only reason I'm saying it's Flash is because I'm fairly certain that had to have been the software that was used.
Possibly.
Just because of how prevalent it was at the time. There were other packages, but I mean, it was everyone else was. They just didn't come up as fast.
Yeah.
So,
but the way they use more of the like how they would do more like traditional Japanese plays, or at least like illustrations, where it was done in a way that it was homaging that and giving it more credence to what they were doing. But at the same time, it had this like beautiful flow to it, and like even though you could tell it was Flash in a way, it had some kind of format to Flash, but it was done so well, so beautifully. And I was like, again, watching this movie the first time, thinking I'd watched it before, and I'm like, whoa, I did not expect this. Like, wait, they went 2D. No, this is Flash. No, this is puppetry.
It's not. It has to be digital, but it's
digital.
It's definitely not cell.
Yeah, it's not cell animation, but it's done so well.
Yeah,
and it was a breath of fresh air for a lot of films nowadays that they would do something different. Like I think recently they did a movie where they used traditional 3D, and then they would use traditional hand drawn animation. Where this would be like, obviously it's digital, but at the same time be like it's got that ambiance of traditional animation, which I loved. It was so good. I was floored. I was like, whoa, okay, please say they're going to use that for the entire Poe's flashbacks, and they did. It was so well done.
So jumping on that, because my second one is connected to that. I love the, don't get me wrong, I love the 2D animation throughout how it's used throughout this. But where I think it's done, the part I like most is in when Poe sees the full history,
right?
And that moment when it went from being visually it went from being a distant memory to a full on major. Like,
yes.
What Inside Out would call a core memory.
Yes.
And that was that transition from 2D to 3D.
Yes.
In that one shot. And because what's cool is up until that point, we had seen the shot of her putting Poe in the basket in 2D. And then you get the 3D, and it's the same choreography, of course. But the way they transitioned from 2D into full-on 3D, I was like, how did you do that? I was watching. I have no idea how you did that. Because it transition. It's almost like it was animated on a 3D system, and then they just slowly kind of turned it so that it let it gain depth, but yet it almost isn't that also.
Yeah.
It was like that moment when it becomes, this is the moment when your old life as your parents' child ended and your life as Mr. Ping's son began.
Yeah, so good.
That one moment, his modern life began, and it's that cool transition there. It's like, oh
yeah, that was good. That was
man,
so
that
good.
was so good.
Agreed.
It's things like that make me love being an animation nerd.
Agreed.
Because when people actually put in that care and that drive to actually do something cool like that, and you see that, and you're still going, how did you do that? So yeah, that transition during the main flashback is my absolute favorite.
Excellent
scene in this film.
Yeah, also
and the use of 2D animation.
Yeah, also kind of bouncing off that, because like you talk about care of, like, you know, artists putting in the time, putting in the effort, putting in like the care and love to do something correctly. Because I guarantee we have watched films where it has been like it's just so sloppily done.
I mean, like the Mighty Kong.
The Mighty Kong.
This
so
is the most recent example.
Mighty Kong, the Titanic legend goes on. Those films, most of our bad movie films.
Yeah.
And some of the others were just like, oh my gosh, this is so terrible. But then when you look at artists like DreamWorks does amazing work. Like every time I've ever seen a DreamWorks film, they do it incredibly well done, and they have passion and care for what they're doing.
Even when it's not even that good a film.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the reason it's not a good film is not the animation. It's usually the writing, because the writing has been one of DreamWorks' low points.
Exactly,
one of its weaknesses. But either way,
but yeah, just I agree with you, man. Yeah. That the animation in this movie is so top notch. Definitely for 2011, especially when you're going between that 2D and 3D transition. It's like, whoa, okay, that was a treat to watch. All right.
So third like for you.
Third like. The man, the legend, Gary Oldman's performance as
Master Shen.
Master Shen. Oh my gosh. No wonder Hollywood for years have pigeonholed the legend that is Gary Oldman into the villain role.
He plays
so freaking good. He's like oh come on, Severus Snape, that actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
You would say that. It's
right at the tip of my tongue. Alan Rickman. Be like, you have characters like that who are so good and have this like devious, like malicious, like delicious form of acting when it comes to becoming a very good, very believable villain. And his performance in this movie is no different. Be like, he eats and chews every single line he's in. It's like every morsel, like it's the characters just being funny, or like trying to be serious but being funny. It's like, oh my gosh, it brings a next level of performance from Gary Oldman.
Yes, and home. Or did you not see the peacocks on the door?
Yes. Because this man, I believe, was born to be an actor who portrayed villains. I'd be like, I don't think I remember no, he'd be like, yeah, he was Sirius Black in the Harry Potter films.
Yeah.
But, technically in the third film, he was a villain until the very end. And like the turnaround, like, wait, he's not the villain. But
we didn't know he wasn't the villain.
No, that's true. Yeah, we thought he was the villain.
Yeah.
But nope, wrong. But it's like Gary Oldman just brings it every single time. It doesn't matter if it's like one line, two lines, or just like making a funny joke. And it's got this diabolical, like, you know, Whipley wish, like just the what's the word I'm looking for? The twirling of the mustache.
Oh,
kind of like
the
every
snidely whiplash.
snidely whiplash. Thank you. That's the word I was looking.
Effect.
Yeah, effect.
I'll get you, Dudley Do-Right,
Right.
and I'll be putting Nell on the that's not Snidely Whiplash. That's a different.
Yeah,
what is the name of that character in Dudley Do-Right?
Either
doesn't matter.
Yeah, either or. But it's just like, man, Gary Oldman just eats every single scene. It's like he's eating his entire microphone the entire time. It's so good. It's so delicious. And just like, oh my gosh. Because I'd be like, again, watching this movie the first time, thinking I'd watched it before, it's just like, I'd be like, I heard it and I was like, that's Gary Oldman. Be like, I've seen so many of his films. He's so freaking good. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. For example, we watched, Gary Oldman was in Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
He was in Oppenheimer.
it's an Oppenheimer.
Yeah. So like the scene he was in, it was like, oh my gosh, it's Gary Oldman. He doesn't look like Gary Oldman because he's that kind of method actor. And it was so good. This, like every time this man is on screen or he's playing a voice actor, he just eats it up. It's so good. Oh my gosh. Yes, Gary Oldman's performance as our villain is smoking good. What's your third?
My third like for this film. Oh, this is just one of my favorite films. I could talk about the choreography. I could talk about some of my favorite lines. Gary Oldman was a good one to bring up.
I'm guessing I can.
I'm gonna have to go with Jack Black.
That's what I thought.
Jack Black has become.
Peach.
He's become one of my favorite actors.
Yes.
The first movie I know I saw him in, I believe, was School of Rock.
Oh, okay.
And then, of course, I remember hearing him cast as Carl Denham in King Kong, going, "That is not a casting I expect for Jack Black." And then you watch the film, and it's like, that is perfect casting for Jack Black. I've watched, or I've listened to some of the Tenacious D songs. He's a rock star in his own merit.
Yeah.
He is actually the main voice actor and like presenter in the game. What is the name of that game? Shoot.
I think we were talking about it's more like it's a rock star kind of
The
character.
rock star is like the art is based off of old 80s albums.
Yeah. I love that concept. It's so good.
It was a good game, actually. You didn't know it when you started playing it, but it was actually a strategy game because it starts off feeling like it's an action game.
Oh.
But what is the name of that game?
You'll figure it out in a moment.
I'm Googling it right now. Brutal Legend. That's the name of that game.
Yeah.
And like we said during the Super Mario Brothers episode, the minute they said he was playing Bowser, it's like, I don't even need to hear I don't even need to hear a clip of him doing this character. He's like, that's the perfect casting. He made more sense than everybody else they cast. And they still made more sense than everybody else they cast, except for maybe Anna Taylor-Joy as Peach.
Yes.
Sorry. Tanya? Why did I get Tanya?
Tanya Harding?
I was thinking Tanya Taylor. That's what
Tanya
I think
Taylor.
It was. Either way. But yeah, Jack Black is just... He's one of those actors now for me that I see him cast in a movie. And I know it's going to be, if nothing else, he will be good at it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Even if it's like something I don't really care to see. Because there's a couple of those like early in his career where they were giving him like the typical comedian movies.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
Shallow Hal, I think is one of them.
Shallow Hal.
Where he is hypnotized to see every girl is beautiful or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's a couple others. I know he's technically like plays the bully in like one of the Never Ending Story movies.
Really?
It's like one of his first roles. And he was, it's Jack Black is just one of those people. It's like, I will watch this and give it a shot, because even if it's bad, I bet I'll enjoy watching Jack Black.
Gotcha.
And he just does such a good job with the character of Poe.
Yo, I agree.
So yeah, Jack Black is my third like for this film.
Okay, so when you mentioned Jack Black, I think the first film I ever saw him, it was a movie called The Jackal. This was like one of his very early roles. It was Bruce Willis. It was I'm trying to bring it up right now. Just give me a moment. But it's like one of like he had a very small role. He was an arms dealer, and he gets annihilated. But it's such a good movie. I would highly recommend it. It's a like mid to late 90s action movies. He does a very good. He does more of a comedic role in this film, but it is done so well. And I agree, Jack Black in this movie is done so well. He does so well. He is Poe in so many ways. Yeah, ever since he's voiced the character for now like 4 films, and
all the television shows.
I think he recently did the voice for Poe in the series, but I think someone else replaced him. I think I could be wrong.
I could have sworn he did it for all the series.
Yes, but
I know he for Legends of Awesomeness, which was the main one that was on Nickelodeon. I know he voiced it, or at least he presented it like on TV. He did the commercials for it.
Yeah.
But just real quick, my favorite movie though of Jack Black's,
Yes.
Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre. I have heard good things.
Oh, it's such a fun film. I almost had that as my pick on Retro Rewind,
Really?
but I changed my mind for a different film. But yeah. Okay, yeah, it is actually not. It is Mick Wingert playing Poe in the movie, in the TV show.
Okay.
So. But James Hong returned as Mr. Ping, and Lucy Liu plays Viper.
Agreed.
Everyone else is different. But anyway.
Yeah.
That brings us to the end of our likes.
Yes.
We got to talk about things we don't like about this film.
Yeah.
What's your first dislike?
My first dislike would be the separation between the background and the foreground. What I mean about this is like when you have a character who's in the foreground, say Poe. He's in the back, and the background, it almost seems like it's not blended very well, because you can tell be like the character sitting on like a different layer, and the background be like there's almost a separation between the layers, and it doesn't have they're not the 2 layers are not merged correctly.
Yeah.
So like I wouldn't say every scene, but when we're talking about a character it's more of a close-up shot, like Poe sitting there, like they're sitting on the bow of this ship, and it just looks like it's the character, and you have the background is projecting the background, because there's no interaction with the characters. It looks like it's more just like a cutout of the character in the background. Now,
can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
I have a rebuttal, but you finish your thought.
That's basically that was my thought. That was when I saw it, I was like, huh, that's a little weird.
I will agree with that. The mileage may vary, but I interpreted the distant backgrounds basically as a stylistic choice.
Yes. Okay.
Because it's trying to go for that old kind of kung fu movie feel to it, which a lot of times would have them fighting in front of rear projection screens.
Yes.
Especially if they're doing a lot of wire work.
Yeah, fair.
My assumption is that's kind of the look they were going for, because they're always trying to give this a kung fu movie feel,
that makes
especially
sense.
with a lot of the camera shots.
That makes sense.
That's like I said, I understand how maybe that doesn't work for you, but that's just like that. I think that's what they were doing.
Okay, I found it was more like a nitpick.
Yeah,
and not to be like, oh, that ruins the film because it doesn't. It's not a seamless background, or it's interactive with the background. It's just something I noticed.
My first dislike for this is how when they're in the setting from the first film, I can't remember the name of that little town. but that outside of not up in the where the Furious 5 train, and not in Mr. Ping's restaurant.
Yeah.
But there's some shots of them in the regular town.
Yeah.
That's very obvious. They reused the files from the first movie.
Oh, okay.
And the problem I have with that is they used a different lighting engine in this film than they used in the first. The first one was still very much the old style, where the lighting is baked into the textures. Mm-hmm. This movie is using I don't remember what they call it, but it's ray tracing, basically.
Yeah.
Where the lighting is done based on light sources and how it's lighting up different things based on its reflectivity. It's much more advanced, which is why, but it looks so much better. Mm-hmm. The problem is they didn't update the textures.
Wow.
In the old town segments. Like I said, Mr. Ping's restaurant.
Yeah.
It's right. Up there where they trained. It's right. That one shot of them in town before they leave.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Is not right. Correct.
Yeah.
It is that. It's like they didn't have time to redo it. They realized they needed to see it the last minute. They took the old files, and it's just noticeable that that it doesn't match the rest of the film.
Fair enough.
And I'll admit that's a bit more of a nitpick. It doesn't really matter. That's not even on screen that long. But it was one of those things where I'm watching going, oh, that's the old shot. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's my first dislike for this film.
Oh, okay. So my second like would be like, we have been gloating and just like salivating over the animation of this movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, every other film, be like, you're going to have their slight animation errors, and there are.
Yeah.
There are points where, like, maybe like I remember one distinct scene where it's like Poe, he bounces, but he doesn't bounce, or it's like just nitpicks of like little scenes where it's like, oh, the character looks too flat. Or this, just little things are vaguely just top of my head, just little tiny little things of maybe the bounce didn't have enough oomph to it or something like that. And there can be like you're dealing with hundreds of animators, you're dealing with all these little things,
and hundreds of little bitty things in a nearly factory style creation.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Stuff's gonna get dropped.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, again, nitpick, and again, we have seen films that were absolute garbage, and like this movie just shines like very brightly among those.
Yeah.
It'd be like, and again, every movie has animation errors, and this one is not, does not, what's the word? Is
not any different?
Yeah, it's not any different. It's not any different than the other film. So yeah. Just I thought it was more. It's like I saw little animation errors here and there. It's just like nitpick.
My second dislike for this film, and I'm going to just tell you right now, dislikes were hard for me on this one. Despite the fact that this film does not hold back when it comes to character death. Mm-hmm. Because Master Rhino, the way they handle...
Oh, yeah,
even though they don't actually show him getting killed. Mm-hmm. You watch that and you go... Especially when they when Poe steps in the blast thing. It's like, oh, wow. Mm-hmm. That hits you like a freight train when you realize what you're looking at.
Yeah.
My real problem, though, in all of the things we've seen, is the fact that there are far too many wolves.
Yeah, I agree.
I understand the wolves.
It's a pack, yeah.
With the exception of the Wayne One-Eyed one,
Mm-hmm.
the wolves are meant to just be the endless array of minions. Except there's too many for the town to support without it just being, the Pride Lands at the end of Lion King.
Yeah.
Where it's just dry. This town should be like there should be no one left living in it. As
Yeah.
many wolves are in this town.
Agreed.
There should have been no one for Poe to have to try and save in Gongmin City, because everyone should have been scared off or thrown into prison, or, you want to get right down to it, eaten.
Yeah, agreed.
Because there's no way that, because it's literally like there's a shot of them as Lord Shen is going, doing that big kung fu jump over to the other tower where he's going to fire all of their cannons at the palace. Mm-hmm. And you can see a shot there, especially when Poe gets there, of a sea of wolves. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is supposed to be the palace guard that Lord Shen kind of forced to betray, basically, the emperor, not the emperors, because these aren't emperors, but his parents' rule. There's too many here. Even, I mean, at best, this is a what, 30? Well, Poe is what, about 18, 19 probably.
Yeah.
In terms of if it was given a human age.
Yeah.
So this has been, like, say, call it 15 years.
Yeah.
15 years from when the events that got Lord Shen kicked out of the palace occurred to him coming back, and you've had this much of a wolf explosion, and nobody knew about these bandits until they attacked the Musician City? Or at least that's when our character...
Yeah.
There should have been rumors of, like, hordes of wolves like, descending upon towns like locusts. Mm-hmm. But we don't see that. We don't even see a hint that there's more than 20 of these wolves until we get to that shot. Mm-hmm. And then you have a sea of wolves, and throughout the rest of the film, they at least limit it to maybe 100. I can believe 100. I can't believe nine infinite wolves. Because that's kind of... They didn't try to make it look believable. I understand this is more based on feel, is what that shot was probably more, to make them feel like, oh, we are in deep doo-doo. But at the same time going, that's too many wolves for this city not to just be destroyed.
Yeah.
Because there's no way this city is supporting them.
Yeah.
No matter how much they take. There's no way they could. So, yeah. Too many wolves.
Okay, that's
What's
fair.
your third dislike?
That is fair enough. My third like, and again, my third like was kind of thrown on the whim because I had no idea. And you were talking about wolves, and I was like, wait a minute, what about the cannons in this movie? The cannons are propped up to be this almighty, thunderous weapon that can destroy anything.
My third dislike is the same thing. So I'm going to jump in when you have a break.
Okay, so be like we're given this, be like, oh, these mighty cannons, they can destroy cities, they can destroy people. We have this the one shot where the Fearless Five and Poe are are surrender in the palace. They are shackled and they walk through the foyer, and all you see is the late master's hammer.
Yeah,
where he has been blown to bits by this cannon, and then you see throughout the entire rest of this movie. These cannons are literally ineffective because they're supposed to be like, they can destroy anything. Mm-hmm. They literally obliterate this Grand Master, but everybody else just gets thrown around. There's no obliteration. There's no, oh my gosh, they're seriously hurt. It's like we see at one point, Poe is in direct fire of the big cannon, gets shot through, gets blasted, and he just gets walked away with a scratch. I was like, okay, we know Poe is very rotund. He is a very big bear, or panda bear. It would be like if, do all these characters have plot armor that get hit by this thing, or is it just one character who doesn't?
So I need if we're talking about Poe specifically.
Yeah, because Poe's got
that scene.
Yeah.
I didn't mention this in the trivia because I could not find the story I was looking for.
Fair.
But in the time allotted. But
Yeah.
I do remember reading back when this came out and I was doing some stuff on it, that there was a belief by Kung Fu masters from this, or martial arts masters from this time,
Yeah.
not necessarily Kung Fu, but probably some Kung Fu, that they believed that their Kung Fu could stop bullets.
I heard about those.
Now, key word here.
Could.
Bullet!
Yeah, bullet.
Bullet as in small. As
Yes.
in the size of a grape. Not the size of a cannonball. I'm sorry, I don't care how much inner peace you have and how much kung fu prowess you have, you're not stopping a cannonball. No matter how slow it's going when it... if I could... The only thing I give Poe, why Poe wasn't immediately killed, is by the time that cannonball got to where he was, it would have slowed down tremendously.
Oh, agreed.
He still would have had a hard time catching it to redirect it, but he would not have been able to give it the same amount of oomph that it had coming out of the
Yeah, you're not kidding.
to go back and destroy everything. I get it. Dragon Ball Z logic is in play here, and
Fair.
I'm like, you know what? I can't believe the magic this much.
Yeah.
I will accept it because it looks awesome.
Oh, agreed. It looks amazing.
This is logically not.
Yeah, physics doesn't work. Physics does not work.
There is not enough key energy to make. Well, there's probably enough key energy I could make this work. Not that they ever bring up key energy in this, but it's all the same magic style.
Right.
But I'm still looking at it going, this looks cool, but I don't. This should not be something you let your kids try.
Yes.
But my issue with that scene is not the cannonballs.
Yeah.
It's the cannons themselves.
Okay.
Those cannons do not look like Chinese steel. They look like European steel.
It does.
And these are made from pots and pans and bells and any scrap metal that they could find.
Which is all different
Keyword,
types.
metal, not iron, not
Yes,
steel, not bronze. Any metal they could get their hands on.
Pause on.
There is no way on earth these things were as strong as they made them out to be.
Oh, yeah.
The only one that we see with the pedaling at the end of the cannon is at the very end. The one that falls on Shen is got the end of it blown out because that last cannonball had so much in it because they were trying to kill Poe, and it just didn't. The cannon itself didn't survive the attack, and I'm still sitting there going, "This does not look like what this should look like." I'm sorry,
Agreed.
it just doesn't. These look like European cannons that somebody put a Chinese finish on.
Agreed. Yeah, it's like
Especially they don't look like 6th century
No.
China.
No.
It's not yes, China did create fireworks fairly early on. They did they didn't use them for as gunpowder until much later when they saw the Europeans doing it. They used it as fireworks and a couple other little things. I mean, quote unquote, the first astronaut, in quotes, was an emperor. They tied a bunch of rockets to his throne at his orders and lit it. And I think, and according to the story, he flew up into space. More than likely, he blew up on the launch pad.
exactly.
I think the Mythbusters even proved he blew up on the launch pad.
Yeah.
But
Hint: he went to heaven.
he did technically go to a heaven. Oh, maybe not heaven. Because
He went to the their idea of what heaven was aka
afterlife.
Afterlife.
They went to the afterlife. Let's just say that. But
Hell's a hot place to go every once in a while. A hot place to go.
gonna be a hot time in the old town tonight. But yeah, like
Happy
you,
times.
my third dislike comes down to these cannons.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna say, first and foremost, nitpick. within the context of this film, I don't frankly care. Within the context of this film, Poe was able to do that. I'm sorry, he was.
Yeah.
But but we're using Dragon Ball logic here.
Yes.
Remember that.
Yes.
Poe was able to do that through the power of ki energy and comedic timing.
Yes.
That's all it was.
And plot armor.
That's what the words comedic timing mean.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I completely agree. The cannons are very much a because they're gonna be like their effectiveness is, oh my gosh, they're intimidating. They took out this grand master, but at the exact same time, like anytime they are shot and a character is hit, they are literally just stunned. And it threw me for the biggest loop. These are supposed to be devastating, but they're not.
So Master Ox, not Master Ox.
No.
What was the master that got killed?
Oh,
Master Ox was not.
no.
Ox and Croc were left.
Bice, not Bison.
I'm scrolling up because he was one of my people. Cathless. Rhino. Master Rhino.
Master Rhino.
Master Rhino was a red shirt.
Apparently.
For those who don't know, a red shirt is a character in a movie or television show whose primary purpose in the story is to be either killed or brutally wounded, mortally wounded, that, they might as well be dead, to show the seriousness of the situation so that your main cast members can survive until, well, in the original context, the next episode.
Yeah.
This was, of course, created by Star Trek, who, the reason the term red shirt comes about is because most of the people that would go on away missions,
Were
so
red.
that Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and everyone else wouldn't get shot for them, were security personnel who on the show wore red. That's why they're called red shirts. But you can see red shirts in nearly every story.
Yeah.
That involves, something like this. And so you have the weapon, the weapon of evil, the ultimate weapon that's going to bring about the end of life as we know it. They have to show that it is actually capable of doing that. So you kill a character who obviously is supposed to be the Kung Fu master, except his entire role from a storytelling point of view is he has to die.
Yeah, literally.
Croc and Ox don't have to die.
Yeah.
They just have to be cowards for a bit. So,
To make Poe shine.
because Poe is the hero.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that. I completely agree with you. And it'd be like it's the show, the veracity of the show, the magnitude of this thing, and
I suspect your problem is that this is a trope
yes,
you are tired of.
yeah, I'm very tired of tropes like that.
That's what it comes down to. It's not that it's not used well,
Yeah,
but it is one that you'd like to see him do something else.
yeah, exactly. Because I can see where we're like maybe if like it hit Tigress or something, it injured her very like severely enough to where
Tigress would actually, or one of the Furious Five would actually have been a better use of this.
Yeah,
Yeah, killing Master Rhino was their excuse to get him into town.
yeah,
But they needed somebody else to really show this is going to raise this.
yeah,
There are actually stakes in this. Just because you're from the last movie does not mean you're not going to be in horrible shape.
yeah, exactly. Because like throughout the entire film, be like these cannons are shot. Poe's actually hit directly by one. He gets knocked on his fuzzy butt, but he's fine afterwards. So what is the massive threat of these cannons that if you can't be like you took out a master, but why can't you take out the dragon warrior with it or anybody else with them?
Physics for one thing.
Yeah.
Because cannonballs as non-metallurgical as they are.
Right.
As wrong metallurgy as they are. They do not have constant speed.
Yeah, I agree with you.
After you get out far enough ways, they're going to slow down and fall.
Their momentum drops.
Remind me, the shot you're talking about where Poe gets hit, it's not the one at the end, but it's the one where he gets knocked out and then goes and wakes up in his own village in the soothsayer has him, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's the one I was thinking. He's at a fairly good distance. when they fire the
Oh,
cannon.
I agree.
It is not point blank like it is with Master Rhino.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
If Poe had gotten shot by the big one in the palace, or had been closer to any other ones, yeah, he'd be dead.
Yeah.
There's just enough distance that
I could see that.
It is believable that maybe he did not get killed. He got hurt because he was knocked out, but he's far enough away that that's more going to be just a bad shock to the system and probably the world's biggest bruise that he's going to have to put up with.
Oh, yeah.
That maybe
I see that.
acupuncture somehow.
Oh, I see that.
Because we are still dealing with Chinese mysticism.
Very
But
true.
Either way.
Oh, that kind of brings up kind of a fourth, but there again, it's a nitpick. You have the overabundance of, we have to continually tell our audience about this prophecy in order to get it through our heads that Poe is the guy. Poe is the guy who's going to defeat him. And be like, I get it, but at the same time, it's, again, with this like massive trope of the like, be like, tropes are there for a reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we overplay them to death.
It may be overplayed a little here.
But it's for more the comedic timing in the whole bit. I get it.
I mean,
In some
you
ways.
need the one in the beginning, I believe.
Yes.
And you need the one where she's confronting Shen,
Yeah.
because that is very necessary to see their relationship.
Yes.
You could have left out most of the rest of them, other than maybe they were. If it was being used more as a taunting,
Yeah.
I could see it. Well, and you need to explain it to Poe.
Yeah.
Because so I guess the only one really you could have left out is the one in the beginning, and just have this prophecy keep coming up.
Yeah.
But just not have the spell it out in the very beginning that Poe is going to be the one. Granted, you know Poe's going to win. It's called Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
But maybe we didn't need to hear the prophecy until the crane is talking to the the peacock's talking to the soothsayer. That's just an idea.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean, like, I do agree with you.
It's in the past. You gotta
Yeah.
let it go.
Yeah.
You gotta choose the movie as it is now.
Oh, I agree.
Anyway.
I agree. Again, it was one of those like, aha moment.
And we're looking for nitpicks.
Yeah, we're looking for nitpicks.
It's actually a pretty good film.
I agree.
otherwise.
I agree. It is.
What are you rating this film?
I want to hear yours first.
I'm giving it an 8.
An 8. Okay.
This is a fun film.
I agree.
And I still think it's the best of the Kung Fu Panda movies that I've watched so far. And I have not watched any of the TV show, but it's just such a fun Kung Fu film. Gary Oldman does such a good job with the villain. It actually feels like the characters are in danger, despite what we brought up a minute ago. But it does feel like, yeah, there's a good chance nobody's surviving this.
Yeah.
Is how it feels in the moment.
Right.
It's just, and it's a good, fun story. It's what I would have wanted from the first movie had they not been doing the whole unlikely hero thing. And everyone's got to come to the understanding that Poe is actually the Dragon Warrior and not somebody else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I'm in the same boat. It's an 8. Well, technically, when I first wrote it, I thought it was like a 7, like a 7.5. But after you've explained it and just like after going over it and just reminiscing, it's like, wow, this is a really good film. So yeah, it's an 8. It's got it uses a lot of the cliches for more the comedic
Comedy and Kung Fu
movies. But overall, it's great. Again, Gary Oldman just kills it. Jack Black kills it. Most of this cast is like, oh my gosh, is amazing. Like the animation is so stellar. The kung fu coordination is just, oh my gosh, animation just drool all over it. It's an 8. I don't remember what we rated.
I don't either.
Kung Fu Panda 1, but
so if we somehow rated it higher, we apologize.
Right.
We aren't perfect.
right. But yeah, it's a solid 8 for me. So the next movie we're reviewing is
We said Anastasia earlier. I wanted to look at it again to verify.
Yeah, I looked on the spreadsheet. It said Rewind. I was like, wait, what movie are we doing again?
And that's Anastasia.
Anastasia.
Because our after that's going to be our second patron pick, even though he's not a patron anymore. So yeah, Anastasia next week.
Yeah.
Let's see if I still hate this film. Reminder: this was the first film we disagreed on.
Yes.
So join us next week for that. In the meantime, join us on the other side of the bumpers, and we will get to talking about what we've been watching, some news, which there's actually a good portion of news this week.
Yeah.
And we'll get into some Spy Family.
Yeah.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
Forgot a step. This week, we suggest checking out The Rushmore Show. The Rushmore Show is the place for ranking the ultimate top 4 in sports, video games, nostalgic movies, and so much more. Each week, Andy and Kirk spark engaging discussions and friendly debates, making The Rushmore Show your compass in the realm of pop culture rankings. You can find them at youtube.com/Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 4 and nothing more. We also suggest, we would also like to thank the following patrons: Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, Book of Gaming, PaulJPowers.com, and the Monster Island Film Vault. If you would like to have your name shouted out on the show, uncut episodes, special art from Jacob, just had some come out this week, and for a short time, exclusive reviews of X-Men 97. You can donate to us at the $5 level to receive all this. You can get all of that plus the ability to force us to watch a film within reason. Bear in mind, The Mighty Kong was within reason. You can donate to us at the $10 level for that. So, yeah. Donate. You can donate to us on Patreon for any of these prizes. Prizes?
Prizes.
They're kind of prizes?
Kind of.
So, Jacob, I have a question for you.
What have you been watching?
Oh my gosh. So what have I been watching? Continue through DuckTales. I'm on season 3.
Nice.
I would say season 2 kind of went a little tropey because it was like, oh, the big bad is this. And it's like, oh, really? This, like, you had season 1, which had this amazing villain reveal. Like, obviously we knew who the villain was, but it was, oh, okay, you're building up to this, quote unquote. I'm not gonna spoil it because if you want to go watch DuckTales. Woohoo! But yeah, season 3 is good. We get this introduction of a certain organization that is introduced into Darkwing Duck from Darkwing Duck. It's like, oh, okay, this very unlikely villain. It's just like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder where this is going. And it's very good. I thoroughly enjoy DuckTales season 3, the reboot. And I wish I got a season 4, but that's Disney. They don't really give season 4s anymore. So just in more nostalgia, I decided to watch the OG DuckTales. They came out in the 1980s.
80s.
Came out in the 80s.
It was an 80s show, not a 90s show. We watched it in the 90s.
Yeah, we watched it in the 90s. And it's
neither one
so...
of us had Disney Channel in the 80s.
No, good night, no. We didn't have cable back in the 80s. Or satellite at all. But...
Well, actually, I think we had Disney Channel because for a short while it was on the very bare bones cable package we had. But then it got moved up to like the next step up, and so we didn't get it, and that's why I had so many movies bootlegged.
Got it. So I watched the first episode of the original series. I'm like, wow. It's like, wow, this is good, but it's like you're looking at 2 different shows almost.
Oh, yeah.
Because Scrooge McDuck in the original is just he's a penny pincher. He won't spend money for nothing. And then you have season 1, episode 1 of the reboot series, and it's just night and day. You have this grumpy old duck who be like doesn't want anything to do with anybody, and he's kind of lost his flair.
Yeah.
And we learn later in the end of season 1 why he's lost his flair, why he's lost his motivation. But it's so night and day. And plus, in the reboot, the triplets actually have personalities. They're not voiced by one voice actress.
Yeah. They're not all voiced by Minnie Mouse.
Yes, exactly.
It still amazes me that they were all voiced by the same actress who voiced Minnie Mouse.
Oh, yeah, of course. And what I remember, because with the original DuckTales, they couldn't use Donald Duck.
Yeah, there was a rights issue.
Yeah.
So, for some reason.
What it was, really, it was more that ever since Donald was part of the big trio of characters for Disney, so they didn't want to use him so much in this little project called DuckTales.
Right, but he's actually in the first episode.
Yeah, he's in the first episode.
Yeah.
He shows up periodically, but they couldn't use him so often. In this one, he's in almost every other episode because he's Donald Duck.
Yeah.
And
because now Disney's like, oh yeah, well you use these characters all over the place. Make them popular.
Yeah.
We don't have theatrical shorts to put him in anymore.
Exactly. So
And Tony Anselmo needs work.
that I feel like I've never been able to do a Donald Duck. But
we all know I can't do Donald.
no.
Mine just sounds like this, which is completely wrong.
Oh my gosh. So I've continued watching NCIS season 3. Season 3 is really good. Going through podcasts, going to work, have you. And I think that's about it, except for just a lot of YouTube, in the afternoon, just winding down. And oh my gosh. Wow. And in between moving and this and this and this and this, it has just been hectic. So I can't wait to get moved and get everything settled.
And everything can calm back down until your fiance starts moving her stuff in.
Yes. And then that'll turn into...
And then you have the bachelor party and...
Which is going to be...
The wedding.
The wedding.
And...
The honeymoon. And...
I won't be helping with the honeymoon.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It's like, Drew, what are you doing here?
We have a podcast to record, Jacob.
It's like, you're dead. Be like, no, Ashley would kill you before I did.
Yes, she would. And they'd never find the body.
They'd never find the body. You are not kidding. Oh, my.
Anyway.
Yes, anyways. Ugh. You are not coming to San Antonio with us.
No, I'm kidding. I am so kidding.
It's like, clip for Ashley. Anyway, so that is what I have been watching and listening to. What about you? What have you played and watched and listened to?
Oh, Fantasy VII Rebirth is primarily what I've been playing.
Oh, okay.
That game is so good.
Okay.
It's kind of distracted me from everything else.
Oh, okay.
So I did finish that book I was telling you about last week, the one about the history of animation. It did end during the beginning of the Saturday morning cartoon era, and considering the focus was based on the golden age of animation, more or less, that makes sense. It actually ended with the deaths of Walt Disney and Max Fleischer.
Oh, okay.
That was the ending points of those stories. And yeah, some of that went up fairly late, but at that point the history was it's all being made cheaply and without as much soul as those original theatrical shorts were.
Yeah,
which
agreed.
was part of which I get. I still like some of the Saturday morning cartoon stuff, but anyway, and also bemoaning how so many of these great animators ended their careers working on commercials.
Yeah.
Which I get that.
Yeah,
but
you got to make money somehow.
And it was virtually impossible the way things were going.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, watched everything we needed for the podcast. And that's pretty much it. Double thinking here to make sure I'm not missing something.
Double think is dangerous, dude.
I'm not referring to the 1984 double think. It's more of a I'm double checking, but I'm doing it thinking. That's why I said double thinking. Yeah, that's pretty much it that I've been watching and playing. So, what do we have in the news?
The Cellcast News with your host Jacob Heron.
Why, thank you, Dealit. And going into the news, this past weekend, there was a convention for cinema buffs called CineCon.
Indeed.
And that took place, I believe, in California, I believe.
It was in Vegas.
Vegas, that's right. It was in Vegas. I'm sorry. It was in Vegas. And there was a huge announcements coming through there.
Lots of huge announcements. They won't release these trailers yet,
No,
though.
they won't. They won't release them yet. So in our first bit of news, Dave Bautista and Eric Nam are set to headline the voice cast for the upcoming Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, being developed by Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon Studios. The film's working title is called Aang: The Last Airbender. News was announced during what I just said, CinemaCon, and this comes from Variety.com. Let's see. I did a little writing my own self. CineCon happened this previous weekend with several studios presenting their up and coming animated features. They did one for primarily Disney, which related to animated features. Inside Out, they showed a couple of minutes of that, and that's coming out in June. Mufasa, The Lion King, coming out in December, and they showed a clip and I believe Dwayne Johnson was on stage for this, and they presented a new song, and to get the audience fired up for the new one. And so weirdly, they're going to do live action. I think the next year is like, why?
Live action Moana.
Yeah, live action Moana.
Why?
Exactly. So, the one that I'd be like, I saw news about this and I was like, oh my gosh, they're doing it. And so we all, for the most part, if you haven't watched the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from 1990 or 1989, be like, that is just like amazing film. So apparently Nickelodeon and Paramount are going to do something very similar with Turtles again, but this time with The Last Ronin.
Okay.
And so if you don't know what The Last Ronin is, The Last Ronin was an idea that Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird had kind of just written up of what they thought how the Turtles would end. And so this was a series that came out a couple of years ago from I can't remember what the comic book series, but it came out as a comic book form, and Eastman worked on it, and but it's very successful. It was probably the most successful comic book series of that year. It was very successful. It was very well done. It's more about the story of it's in the near future where there's a Last Ronin apparently three of the four brothers that passed away, and so this one Last Ronin is out to seek revenge for his family and to bring about the end of the villain of this story. And I watched and read this unfold. It was amazing what they're doing. And so apparently they are doing what I understand is a rated R live action hybrid film of The Last Ronin. So that looks amazing. And they've already announced who's directing, who's writing. And I'd be like, I can't wait, because they're going to be like, I saw the when this was coming out, and it was like, wow, this is amazing. So I think at one point I will probably find or get the graphic novel and read it, because it just sounds like a lot of fun. And so that was also announced at CinemaCon. And again, all this news is coming out from CinemaCon. Transformers 1, it is a Paramount Studios production. This is going to be a kind of a retelling of Transformers G1 or Generation 1. And apparently they have cast Chris Hemsworth. I've already said this before. Chris Hemsworth is being cast to voice a young Optimus Prime, replacing series veteran Peter Cullen. And they've got a lot of bigger stars coming through this one, and there's no set date to this. Let's see. Transformers 1 marks the first full animated feature from the artists from Industrial Light and Magic since 2011 with Rio. And this will be the first Transformers animated film to come into theaters since Transformers the movie back in 1986. And as we all know, we've already reviewed that film. We've reviewed it twice already. So go find that wherever you listen to podcasts and let us know what you thought.
Like PaulJPowers.com says, at least it's not Chris Pratt.
Wait until Garfield.
I'm just saying, from that trailer I watched of Garfield,
Yeah.
he makes a better Garfield than he makes as Mario.
All right. So where was I?
Still not Lorenzo music, though.
True. Let's see. We were I think we were in the middle of talking about something, and you mentioned Sonic, and I was like, wait a minute. Did they announce anything about Sonic?
No, did we ever?
Yes, they did.
Did you know, folks, that this year, 2024, is the year of Shadow?
A Kingdom Hearts character?
Shadow the Hedgehog, not Shadow the Heartless.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That makes more sense now.
Yes, because not only do we have Shadow in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 later this year.
The Pulp Fiction character. The Shadow knows.
No, but I like that Shadow. I actually have a lot of that Shadow.
Oh, okay.
But no, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, okay.
The movie that's going to come out later this year, that's made for kids, in which a young girl is probably going to get shot.
Yikes!
Spoiler alert! For a game, because of a game 20 years ago.
Yes.
It's hard to believe that game's 20 years old, but yeah, he's got the movie coming out that's going to have him in it. You've got the remaster of Sonic Generations that's going to include Shadow as a playable character.
Yes.
And they've been releasing a bunch of other Shadow stuff, like a commercial that's. You know those old PSA commercials that the government put out about being yourself and not caring what everyone else says about you, and how the cheesy acting?
That sounds like something the culture does now.
There's a Shadow version where he tells a young girl to be herself.
Oh my gosh.
And it's cheesy and bad.
All right.
Anyway, sorry.
So
we got Knuckles coming out later this month.
Yes. So with all that said, attendees of the Paramount CinemaCon 2004 panel were treated with an exclusive glimpse at Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and including our first look at Shadow in the Down on His Luck Dr. Robotnik.
Yes, Jim Carrey is back as the evil Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik. And apparently is down on his luck, which probably means he's going to break into a gun base and find the remnants of his grandfather's work in a black hedgehog that has air skates on his feet.
Air skates.
And he'll be grinding. And by that I mean like skateboard grinding. Get your head out of the gutter. I will be cutting this joke.
You're welcome. Wow.
was bad.
That was terrible.
That was terrible.
You're welcome, patrons. You got that earworm in your head the rest of the week. You're welcome.
It said grinding and my brain went. That's not fart, that's wet fart.
Oh my gosh. So just to be honest, like when you said it, it didn't click immediately because my mind wasn't there. And when you said it, get out of your mind, it's like, now I can't get out of my mind. Thank you very much, Drew.
I'm sorry, I just shoved every patron's head into the gutter. That is why it will not be on that episode when it comes out. Okay. Good night. Can't believe I said that.
It happens. It happens. We are all prone to making mistakes and stupid jokes.
Continue.
Okay. The footage begins with Dr. Robotnik saying that he had the ultimate weapon in the palm of his hands, and now I sit here.
Shadow is the ultimate life form.
Yes. But I think he's talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. And now sitting here being binging on carbohydrates. When we see him, he has long hair and very similar transformation to Thor when he became Bro Thor from Avengers Endgame.
Well,
So he's gotten a little bit chubby.
you can't call him Fat Robotnik because he's already fat.
Yeah.
Maybe now you can actually call him Eggman and I'll accept it.
But it's like, yeah, that sounds cool. Be like, I don't know if they release trailers from Cinecon.
We have no idea. I've never heard of the Cinecon before. So it's
I heard about it last year.
It's a new thing, or relatively new thing as far as I know.
Okay.
I assume within a week or so we'll get trailers. They're just giving con goers some exclusivity time.
Probably. Yeah, so that's all I have for in the news.
You miss one.
What did I
piece
miss?
that I'm aware of. This year, for Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, will be the series finale. The final season.
So we're ending on the bad movie?
That's what I said!
No!
That's what the poster's gonna be. It's the poster for the final frontier. It's like, at least the poster's not bad. If this show ends with them, okay, hey, they have to find that version, that quote unquote God, and shoot him in the eye. Please, Lower Decks, do this. Have the koala eat him. That's actually the saddest part about this is like, I have a feeling no one else will use the cosmic koala ever again. Because I still don't know what the cosmic koala is about. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Why is he smiling? What does he know?
So do we know when
No,
Lower
we
Decks?
don't have a release date for it yet.
Oh, okay.
Or any of the other Star Trek stuff that was announced. We do know that Strange New Worlds is getting a 4th season, but we still haven't had 3rd season yet, so.
Alrighty then.
I have to read this from Bobo, from that Sour Bobo.
Oh no.
What does God need with a cosmic koala?
So good. So good, Bobo. So good.
Thank you, Bobo.
Oh my gosh.
Any other news?
No, that's it.
Then why don't we get into some espionage?
Yes.
Familial espionage.
James Bond Jr.
Impossible. Call me Big Man if you want a rich man. When you want to page me, it's okay.
The man called Flintstone. What an agent, what a squirrel. He's got the country in a whirl. What's his name? Shh, secret swirl.
Johnny Quest.
Anybody want a peanut?
Peanuts.
Peanuts. Oh my gosh.
Mission 5. Will they pass or fail?
No.
That's not what this episode is about.
No, it's not.
Directed by Norihito Takahashi and written by Tomomi Kawaguchi. In this episode, Anya gets excited about passing the entrance exam, but wants some motivation to study, so the family and Frankie go on a role-playing mission in a castle upon Anya's request.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
There is no new cast in this episode. I know what you're thinking. Doesn't the people at Wise technically count? The people talking about, the mission. They don't, because I don't think they show up again. So, trivia for this one. The redacted Twilight profile seen on screen in this episode is actually the same profile that's seen at the end of Volume 1.
Okay.
Which is where we learned that Twilight's favorite color of underwear is black, for some reason.
Of course.
Yours imaginary scenario of killing the father of a student as Thorn Princess,
Oh
so
my
Anya
gosh.
could enter Eden,
Yes.
is changed for
yes.
the anime.
Oh my gosh. It's
In
so
the
good.
manga, she attacks Zachary Feist in a crowded room and kills multiple people before stabbing him. In the anime, the scene takes place in an office with only Feist and Thorn Princess. I love how the fact that they had to censor most of the manga to bring it, they brought it over to the anime. Because this is not a very bloody show.
No,
otherwise.
it's not.
Lloyd's training that lets him drink as much as he wants without getting drunk is not mentioned or discussed in the anime. After Wise orders all agents in Estonia to report to the castle, about 59 agents are present, more than the agents shown in the manga. Both Lloyd and Anya look at the sky while sitting on a fountain after the party, while in the manga, they look at the sky while standing on a balcony. They're the anime exclusive content. The Bad Omen scene at the start of the episode was added for the anime.
Okay.
Anya's ritual dance to get into Eden was also added. When the Wise radio operator orders the agents to report to the castle, he mentions that it is for Operation Strix and gives the mission an over SS ranking. This was not mentioned in the manga. Anya wearing a tiara during the castle sequence for her princess roleplay. She doesn't have it in the manga.
Huh.
The castle sequence of this chapter is heavily expanded for the anime. A scene of getting in the castle by plane was added, and there is a completely new sequence of Lloyd Man saving Princess Anya and facing off against the rest of Wise agents before an expanded fight against Drunk Yor. As mentioned last week, that in the manga is like 3 or 4 pages. That's how much expanded this is.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on this episode?
Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. It was oh my gosh. Because I watched a little bit.
This was the first episode I think you hadn't seen.
No, I'd never seen this one, and oh my gosh, so much fun. It was more Anya getting her wish because she did so good, minus be like Lloyd and wanted to kill people, which I thought was great. But it was her wish to make her TV show a reality, and of course Lloyd just like, okay, let's do this, and it's so well done. It's got this campy Mission Impossible kind of feel, and Lloyd just have to go through all these little hoops and being this master spy, and just takes everybody out with all this gusto. It's not even funny. And all the fellow agents, oh my gosh, we get to work with Lloyd. We get to work with
one guy.
Oh my gosh.
He is a Lloyd stan, to use a Gen Z term.
Oh, okay.
Good night. That is anyway, continue.
Yeah. Like it's so well done. There again, you have Yor, who gets a little too drunk. This is
a running gag
Yeah.
that starts here is that she really shouldn't drink.
Yes. And then be like Lloyd, finally gets to the final level, and yours apparently the
witch.
And it's like, oh my gosh.
She's not even aware she's not Thorn Princess right now. She must protect Anya.
Yeah.
Not Princess Anya,
Anya.
She thinks Lloyd is going to kill her, apparently.
Yeah, and it's just like Lloyd's just like, whoa, what the? Be like, wow, she's really good. Where in the world did she get all this training? And rah, rah, rah. And like, whoa, okay, she went real serious. Don't be like, do not pass the vodka or whatever to this woman, because she's gonna go all Thorn Princess on anybody and kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good. Oh my gosh,
Good and fun as this
Oh, yeah.
episode is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be a little bit of a rain on the parade.
oh,
This technically episode probably should not have been done. Nice, not to the extent, because I'm being honest here. Why after this point, as like while Lloyd is very much where she shouldn't be, keep the alcohol away from her, he never questions why she is so good at fighting.
true.
Every agent
Well, they're oblivious
in
to it.
Estonia, every Wasalis agent in Estonia goes to this castle, and you're telling me the Estonia Secret Service is not aware of it?
Apparently not.
Not to mention, this should be blowing Lloyd's cover.
Mm-hmm.
I know. They give like a quick little throwaway line that explains why they could do this, and that's because apparently the Secret Service doesn't have any surveillance in this theme park, apparently. But I'm still going, huh? Granted, it's a fun episode. I enjoy it, but this is Goku and Piccolo driving cars.
Yes, it is.
It's not an episode I think of as canon, or at least the crux of it. It's still a great episode.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
it's like maybe this should not be used as a canon story. That's just me being, like I said, I'm being the rain on the parade on this one, but I do love the story. So,
oh my gosh, this is good. This was a good episode. On to episode 6.
Mission 6, The Friendship Scheme. Directed by Yosuke Yamato and written by Daishiro Tanimura.
Yes.
Anya and Yor pick up Anya's school uniform. Later, Anya has her orientation day at Eden Academy, where Lloyd's plan B to get close to Donovan via having her befriend his second son, Damien, is off to a disastrous start.
Thanks, Anya.
This is one of my favorite episodes.
Yes, I agree.
We have new cast members in this. First, we've got Handler, a.k.a. Sylvia Sherwood, played by Stephanie Young. Damien Desmond, the target's second son, played by Caitlin Glass. Damien's two toadies. Awen Igberg, played by Michelle Rojas, and Emil Elman, played by Macy Ann Johnson. And lastly, Anya's only friend, Becky Blackbell, played by Donnie Chambers.
Got it.
Getting into the trivia, in the anime, Sylvia's name is introduced much sooner than the manga, which revealed it much later after her debut. During the briefing with Sylvia in the anime, Lloyd keeps his coat on until Sylvia explains Eden's merit system, where in the manga, he takes it off before they start the briefing. In the manga, there is a panel of Yor grabbing a carrot, thinking that it could come in handy for her assassination job. This is removed in the anime. Instead, she grabs the pumpkin she later uses
Wham!
to scare the living daylights out of these thieves.
Yes.
After Yor hits the first thug, there is no blood shown on his face when he is down on the ground in the anime.
The manga's different.
The manga is different. When the thugs run away from Yor, the first thug gets carried away by the headbanded thug. But in the manga, he gets carried away by the girl thug.
Oh, that's that's a whole lot of
Yeah. Anime exclusive content. When Anya gets off the couch and rolls to Lloyd rather than simply running up to him like in the manga. Anya giving Lloyd his hat before he leaves was added for the anime.
Okay.
In the anime, Damien was added into the photo taking scene. He was not in the original shot there at the very end.
Oh my gosh, that was hysterical. It's like, oh yeah, look at the couple on the very far left. And they're like, oh crap.
Last but not least, we've not talked much about the ending theme.
Yeah.
the ending credits. I
Yeah.
mean. But next time you're watching it, pay attention to Anya's face when Damien is on screen.
Oh, okay.
She gives the smile.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
The smile. And that's how I refer to it, the smile. Mama's a liar.
Mama's a liar.
This doesn't help at all.
Daddy's a big liar.
But Mama is also a liar. Yeah, this is most famous for me as the episode where Anya punches him.
Yes, I love that. I love it.
And it is this anime.
Don't pick on the telepath.
It's this anime that actually was the source of the first Devo I did for Daily Nerd Devo.
Really?
Yeah, I based it off of Anya. Well, actually, it's not this episode. It's actually 2 more from here. But this is the start of why.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, punches him in the face.
Oh, yeah. It was so
And
good.
it's exactly what the kid needed.
Mm-hmm. And
Punched in the head, and you're
to blame.
You give love a bad name.
But
That is more apropos than you might realize.
But oh my gosh,
There's good reason there's Damien Anya shippers.
makes sense. But so we get this like is like, okay, mission is like, hey, you gotta do this, be friends with this kid. He's a little punk, and he decides he wants to pick on Anya for some reason. And I don't remember if it was more like Lloyd was more like not encouraging her to fight back.
She had overheard his plan because he was thinking about it, and she was trying to. She wants to save the world, and if saving the world hinges on her being friends with this kid, and she's not exactly the most social creature on the planet.
Very true.
Bless her heart.
Oh my gosh, but it's oh my gosh, this is like Anya. It's like, oh my god, like used to be like she's not very socially inept, and like or even equipped, and it's just like she doesn't know what to do, and it's like she gets targeted by Damien, right?
Damien.
Yeah, Damien, and just gets mercilessly picked on by this brat, and this is like okay, and then you got. I can't remember. Was it this episode where they're going for groceries and they get mugged?
Yes, it's the same episode.
Okay, it's same episode. Oh my gosh!
I will admit, I think of these as 2 separate episodes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
It really does feel like 2 separate episodes.
I agree.
But
and they go grocery shopping and they get mugged, and it's just like, oh crap, Yor is going to turn into the Thorn Princess and he's not going to kill these people. But she I guess she has a little bit of grace to be like, you better get away before something really terrible happens.
Well, she doesn't want to be a bad mother to Anya.
That is true.
That's not something Anya needs to be knowing about.
True.
And she doesn't know if Anya's going to blab, so she's not going to kill these kids.
Right.
You don't kill thugs in front of your little girl.
That is true. You kill them behind the back.
Sorry, go ahead.
That no, but you like kill them in front of her. But like, no, you just walk behind them and drag them away, then murder them.
There's your quote for the evening, folks. Don't kill the thugs in front of your kids. Have them turn around first.
Yeah, and then murder them. But yeah, this now granted, be like, I was kind of worried when I watched these like very early on. Like I think I watched them like Saturday or something like that, because I watched them really early because I just didn't have time because I was so busy. And I was like, oh crap, did I watch that last episode? I was like, oh please, because I was thinking is like, because my thought was, but like, if he said something I didn't recognize, like, oh crap, we're gonna have to go back and like cut this in later. But
that would be stop the broadcast, throw the Blu-ray in real quick,
like, watch it,
just record it afterwards.
Yeah.
On the other thing, and then X-Men.
Yes. But yes, this episode is done very well. It still has this, air of cheese of
I don't know if cheese is the word.
Well, it's not.
It's very warm.
Yeah, it's very warm. It's like this show does have a very good sense of comedy to it. It's trying to take itself seriously, but you have this air of like cheesy comedy that is done very well.
So, what if I were to tell you that within the anime and manga genres, this is technically an evolution of what Dragon Ball set up?
Okay.
Dragon Ball was a gag manga.
That's what I
It's
keep hearing.
all about. It originally was all about making jokes, and if you really pay attention to, especially in the manga, but there's some of this in the anime also. Yeah, there's action and fighting and drama, but there's also a ton more jokes than you realize are in there. Naruto, based on the same thing.
Yes.
One Piece is all these things were copying it. A couple weeks ago, when Toriyama passed, Takashi Endo, the writer of this manga, mentioned that a lot of his inspiration for being a manga author was Dragon Ball.
Got it.
This is in that same vein of telling a semi-serious story, but with comedy. Because gag mangas, and they sell, if we're being honest.
They do.
It's just not a pure gag manga. So yeah, Spy Family Z.
Agreed.
Anyway.
Yeah. I'm be like, I love this. Be like, I have no doubt. Be like, this is gonna get better and better and better as we progress through the series.
As I've said before, this first half I think is the stronger of the two halves of season 1. It's not that it doesn't get worse. It's just that what I think what I like about the series is done better in this season, this half, and the second half. But yeah, this is such a great episode. And where this goes from here is great. By the way, this finishes the Academy admissions arc, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Starting with the next story, I believe it's just called Eden Beginning.
Gotcha.
The Eden Beginnings arc.
I gotcha.
So, yeah. I think that's going to be it for this. Join us next week, where we might see love blossom on the schoolyard.
Ruh-roh.
Actually, it is the next episode that was the influence, the inspiration for that first Devo. It is the next one.
Oh, okay.
This is a good episode coming. Anyway, join us next week for that. In the meantime, I think that's going to be it for us. So this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron. And his Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. His Facebook page, Drew's Photobin, to see his photography. His Letterboxd page at ggeorge759. His Twitter at ggeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast, on Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming, on YouTube at Cellcast, on Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell with a single L.
Anywho, that's the end of the show, guys.
Then we get to talk about X-Men. X-Men.
Yes, but y'all have to wait to hear it.
Yeah.